This is 4 tents I use all the time and I love. If there's one obsession I have, it's tents. I love tents. I've been trialing 4 different types of tents and it's pretty hard to pick a winner. I've got 3 MSRs and 1 RAB. Now I must admit, I did get a bit hung up on the 4 season versus the 3 season. Why wouldn't I just buy a tent that could do all 4 seasons? Here's the confusion that I found. A 4 season tent should really be used in that 4th season, winter.
That's pretty cool.
So even though a 4 season can be used throughout all 4 seasons, 3 season tent will outbeat a 4th season tent when it comes to breathability and that condensation that can easily build up on the inside of the tent. So we're going to jump into it, and this is the RAB Ridge Raider, and it's as simple as finding the end and throwing it out. So with the Ridge Raider, it's so epic because if it's howling crazy weather, storm, snow, whatever it is, this is a 4 season shelter, but is incredibly breathable. And then a couple more pegs. I've got the added advantage to peg these out if I want to. And that's it. As simple as that. Now if I needed to get out of the weather quick smart, this is it. It can handle pretty much anything I'm going to throw at it. Again, it's up to me to select the right place to put it in. When I throw it out, if it's in a storm, I'll peg at least 2 corners before I release it, before it takes off into the wilderness of who knows where into the clouds. The mega cool thing about this RAB Ridge Raider is you've just got that one pole to contend with. This front loop here, which just lifts everything up. But there is another pole in the back and the tail of the shelter, which is permanently fixed in. So clearly, it's going to be limited for room. And if I need to, I can get my breathability with this mosquito net. But when I jump in it, it may seem tight, and that's because it is, but surprisingly it is as spacious as it needs to be given the shape. And when I've slept in here, come and have a closer look. There was 0 condensation in here, which was very surprising. So this is the RAB Ridge Raider, and this is one of my obsessions. Let's get the next one up. So with this front range, incredibly light, 4 season, and can sleep up to 4. It's a preformed kind of teepee. The slope sides allow that snow and that rain that's coming in just to fall away. Now this tent doesn't come with a center pole, so you either combine a couple of trekking poles together or you cut a good old piece of stick. So with this epic shelter, it comes with these straps. The cool thing with the front range is you can also get an insert. Now this has a tubbed floor and mosquito net. This is amazing. It's got incredible head height, but that comes at a cost. You've got to make sure you set it up at the right place. Even though those sloping sides is great to get rid of that snow and the rain, the wind is just going to punch it. So make sure you set it up in the right conditions and in the right spot. It's as simple as laying it out. I still can't believe the size of it every time I pull it out of its bag. Peeking out the corners, 4 corners, center stick up, make the adjustments, tighten up, job done. So now all I have to do, unzip the front, grab my pole. You'll notice there's a reinforced pocket here for your trekking poles or your cut piece of wood, and up she goes. Job done. As easy as that. But then to make the final adjustments, and then I'll just put 1 more peg in the front here. Here we go, the front range 4-man tent out of that little packet. How incredible. Let's get in here. Now if you haven't seen this shelter before, I could hear the doubts when I said it's a 4-person, 4-season tent. But check this out. There is plenty of room in here. It is ridiculous. You can sleep one, you can sleep that way, you can sleep that way, you can sleep any way you want. But this has so much room with a ridiculous amount of headroom. So this is kind of my ultimate go-to if I want to travel fast, if I want to travel light. I love this tent. I love it. So what I'm going to do now is put up the insert. I'm going to do that behind it, just so you can get the feel of the size of the insert with the front range. Obviously the inside is going to be smaller than this outer, but it keeps bugs out and it's got an incredible floor. Now I'm going to put this up with trekking poles, and here are those little rubber straps. Zip it up. Again, here's the reinforcement and the teepee side of it. And then right at the base here, there's also reinforced. And then it's as simple as just lifting up that trekking pole to the desired height, and that's it. How simple is that? Check it out. I get so excited every time I go in the tent. I just love it. And check out this tub. The floor is a real tub, and when I spend the time just to get that tension right, that tub just sits up by itself nicely. So that is the MSR Front Range. Man, this is going to be hard to beat. How cool was that dragonfly? Cue the dragonflies. Boom! Oh, nature. How cool is it, eh? Let's get up the Hubba Hubba now. Now the big difference between this one and the rest of the tents is this is freestanding. What's freestanding mean? Well, pretty much you can put it up and it's freestanding. It doesn't need to be pegged out, but obviously we're going to peg it out. Now this tent, like my others, is also an incredible favourite. Now the thing I'm absolutely obsessed with this tent is how simple and how few pegs you actually need to get it up. So at the moment there's no pegs in it whatsoever. Just clicking in these lugs. This is incredible because it being freestanding, it means I can set it up and then find my flat ground, which is just perfect. I can actually go in there, sample it, making sure that there's no rocks or roots sticking out. That's gonna be a hindrance in the middle of the night. Freestanding tent. Mate, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. There's a couple of other features of this tent that blows my mind. I'll show you. With these incredible pegs. The reason why they're incredible is I can also utilize the same peg that's already in the ground to set my fly and cinch it up. Anyway, I'm going to peg out the four corners and I'll show you what I mean. You can see how much room is in there. You can see also how big the actual tub is. It's incredible, and this is next level for a two-man tent. Twin entry and exit. The reason why that's so incredible is not only when you're trying to clamber over each other, when you're trying to do that midnight run for that toilet break, is you get your own sided vestibule, and that is cool. Your gear on your side. Same peg, over she goes. So remember, so far there's only 4 pegs in the ground. Cinch it up, again not too tight. If I'm caught in real strong winds, or I think it's going to come up, there's a few more guide ropes. There's a couple other epic things I want to show you about this beauty. It has a guttering system. Yep, you heard that. You heard it right, a guttering system. There's a gap just in here, a flat. So any rain that comes here collects, is going to hit this gutter and then simply filter away from the door and the tent. How cool is that? So simple, so thought out, so perfect. The other trick they've got going with this tent is there's actually one cotton fibre threaded into the fly with the synthetic, and the reason for that is that first night when you get moisture, if it's not bucketing down, just a little bit of moisture, that cotton thread is just going to swell and sit nicely, and that's what's going to waterproof the tent. All these little things count. So when you're spending your big bucks on a tent like this, you know where it's going. So plenty of room here for my pack and goodies. Let's get inside. Come a bit closer, you're too far away. Look at this size of that tub floor. So in I go, boots and all. So much room. Check this out. Just plenty of room. What makes it 3 season is this mesh for breathability. Now it does have 4 season components in it, but they've really thought about the breathability with these panels. There is a newer version out which is way lighter than this one, but sometimes I do wonder, ultralight, what are we giving up? Is it just as strong as this one? I don't know, because I don't have one, but this one I'm sold on. Let's get out and let's get that last tent up. Lucky last, the Access 2 meaning 2 person. Now this is a 4 season. The thing that makes it a 4 season is the extra components on the inside for strength and to capture that warmth, so that body warmth isn't lost in those colder months. Plus there's an extra pole, and it's got that same awesome guttering system. Again, very similar design than the Hubba Hubba. But this is what brings it into its own. These extra poles, instead of finishing here like they did in the Hubba Hubba, they're going to come all the way down. Just like the other ones. Just so simple. And there it is. Another freestanding tent. I can now position it to wherever I want it to be. Start picking out the 4 corners. Now of course it wouldn't be complete without the general slow-mo of throwing the fly over the tent. So let's do that. So how was that? Good? Good slow-mo? Cool, let's carry on. Exactly the same as the Hubba Hubba. You have your own entry and exit and vestibule. How epic! Now, being more of a mountaineering tent, there is extra guidelines and guideline attachments in here, so you can really cinch it down. Don't be fooled, no matter how expensive your tent is, how many guide ropes you've got on there, it's still up to tent placement in the right area. Now it comes. As you notice here, the Hubba Hubba and the Access is very similar shape, but you can see that with this extra pole and stability right here, definitely just gives it that extra brute force. It's just not flimsy, it's just not as strong as this tent. Anyway, let's open it up, let's get in it. This is nuts. I'm in and out of tents all the time and I still get so excited. Before we jump in it, I want to show you something that's incredible. The floor, it just holds its shape and it truly is a tub floor. Check this out. Even when I undo the zip, I'm not losing any structure. And again, boots and all, in you go. Being a 4 season, it's going to be warm, but it is quite a bit darker. That Hubba Hubba does let in a lot of light. Don't let that be a negative. There's a reason for it, and this is a 4 season tent, like I keep saying, for that 4th season, winter. First thing I notice when I get in here is the heat. It's hot in here, which is what you want in that winter time with those colder nights. Check this out. So there we go. Plenty of room to do your cooking carefully if need be. Now if you cook inside your vestibule and your tent burns down, it's not my fault. Don't do it. I do it. I do it carefully. Pockets either side, and then you can string up a bit of a ridge line to hang those smelly socks when I'm by myself, which is generally most of the time by myself, not the smelly sock thing, although thinking about it. Anyway, don't worry about it. Let's carry on. 4 epic tents up together. How beautiful is that? I told you, tent obsession. So which one am I going to take to Fiordland? Is it going to be the Ridge Raider, Front Line, Hubba Hubba, or Access? Don't get me wrong, Hubba Hubba is still great for Fiordland. You just have to be a bit more on the ball of placement of where you're going to put the tent. So that rules out the Hubba Hubba. One of my favourites. My daughter is not going to like me for this because that's her favourite. So now it's between the Access, Front Range, Ridge Raider. Now here's another thing that I'm obsessed with, is RAB tarps. I've already got 4 of them. There's more coming. So why haven't I included it in this section? Well, because the configuration I can do with the tarp and how universal it is just next level. It needs to be its own episode, which is what I'm going to do in the future. So what's in the pack? Which one did I pick? The Front Range. I love it. And the insert, one of my favorites. But in reality, for Fiordland, to try and find a dry, non-swampy spot of that footprint is pretty hard. It's pretty swampy, it's pretty wet, and it's pretty steep. So the Front Range is out on this trip. Now we're down to the Access 2 and the RAB Ridge Raider. Man, if I just took that Ridge Raider, I can imagine me being lightning fast. I have had trips in Fiordland where I've spent the full 10 to 14 days bogged down into the tent because it's just non-stop raining. That Fiordland weather can be brutal. So the idea of being stuck inside that Ridge Raider for 10 consecutive days, that would be testing for sure. So we have a winner. The MSR Access 2 is the one that's in this pack and coming with me to Fiordland. That was way harder than I thought it was. I love every one of those tents, and every tent has something over the other. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next video.